Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update on a daily basis. If you like this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Grand Lange 1. This is the 2012 to present model, reference 117028 in 18 karat gray gold. That is 18 karat white gold that is straight through white and not plated. A gorgeous timepiece featuring a broad and uncompromised set of dial displays. More on that in a moment. It wears easily on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. So in 2012, the case size of the Grand Lange 1 changed. From the original 2003 41.9 millimeter case, it was sized down a bit to 40.9, and that's the watch that you see right here. Dial changes included principally the removal of the overlap between the hours and minutes display and the sub-seconds. The watch is relatively slim, considering its power reserve indicator and absolute power reserve duration. The twin barrel watch is 9.5 millimeters thick and a reasonable 49 millimeters lug to lug, so it wears well on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist, but I could see this watch being a good match for wrists as small as 14 centimeters circumference. The spacing between the lugs is contemporary, 20 millimeters, neither giant nor skinny. If you wish to find an OEM or aftermarket option, that's the size you will seek. Lightly bolstered, you can see large rectangular scale alligator leather, black semi-gloss. There is a monotone stitch and a folded edge scheme joining it to calfskin on the underside, and the buckle is nicely engineered. First, you can see that both of the prongs on the flanks are extended so that the strap can fit between them when it's buckled down to remain slim, and then there's a retaining bar, so if you're like me and you tend to buckle your watch down to the smallest hole, sometimes it can get stuck, almost pinned on the pin, so to speak. That retaining bar prevents the strap, when buckled tight, from getting stuck on your wrist. Thoughtful design on a component, typically an afterthought. That's Lange. The lugs are stepped out and sculpturally distinct from the case. That's a pleasing effect, especially since there's a double finish with satin on the flank and polish on the edges of the lugs. Polished bezel, polished case back, and satin finished middle. Note how the pusher adjuster for the Grande date features both polish and satin finish, and it's curved to trace the arc of the case. Dome style bezel, easily compliant with a dress cuff. The timepiece features a no-nonsense dial that is artfully constructed and faithful to the standards laid down by the original 1994 Lange 1. Now, these are Lume hands, so there will be a Lume shot. This is an all-around everyday watch for a man. Matte black dial with sunken registers for sub-seconds, hours, and minutes. All applied indices for the hours with stylized quarter Roman numerals. You can see there is a polished white gold frame for the double-digit date, and there is a rapid adjuster so you can easily cycle it. You don't have to buy a datograph to get that buttery pusher feel. With the Lange 1 and Grand Lange 1, you get that same level of tactile gratification with the Grande date pusher adjuster. Now, you will note that there is a loomed power reserve scale for the 72-hour or 3-day power reserve, and you'll note 72 Stunden, that's your power reserve of 72 hours, courtesy of twin mainspring barrels. You can see them set. Let's get a little bit closer and bring everything into focus. Maybe bring out my polishing cloth. If ever a case back deserved it, it would be a Lange. And give ourselves a bit more light. All right, now you can see the fireworks. On any Lange, the case back is a highlight. You can see a giant three-quarter style bridge covering twin mainspring barrels that give you not just the 72-hour power reserve, but a very even power release and torque supply from full wind to minimum wind. 7 chatons fixed by blued screws. The chatons are vintage elements thrown in to reference Saxon watchmaking of the 19th and early 20th century. Back then, machining standards and machining tolerances weren't quite as tight. It was easier to put jewels into specially constructed golden chatons and then fix those in place with screws and then remove them for easy maintenance. Also back then, you would typically have one large three-quarter style bridge, so named for obvious reasons, that would lay over the barrels and the train, and you could see that has been recapitulated. You also have a hand-engraved half bridge or balance cock. Freehand engraved, no two are exactly alike. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. The movement is adjusted in 5 positions like a chronometer, and it features 42 jewels and 397 pieces, so this is a deceptively complex caliber for what seems at first glance like a relatively simple watch. You do get that pusher actuated quickset date, and then there is a hacking or stop seconds function available to synchronize the watch precisely. You see how the balance is stopped? There's a black polished swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism, and then there is a black polished cap to the half bridge for the escape wheel. Absolutely gorgeous. You'll find all of the traditional finishing arts are still respected. In addition to the Saxon watch finishing traditions, you can see how the edges of every bridge and the access points of the three-quarter bridge light up and glow when I turn the watch off axis. You can see the rounded mirrored anglage on the edge. There's also a even engine-turned perlage across the base plate, and of course we have stripes across the bridges. The stripes are glasuta stripes, not Côte de Genève, because we're not in Switzerland, and they are laid down the traditional way with an abrasive wheel not stamped on. Finally, the bridges and plates are made of what's known as German silver, a nickel-copper-zinc alloy that is unplated, so it's not silver like rhodium-plated Swiss brass, and it will become darker and more golden with time, while robustly and resolutely resisting oxidation. You can see this one in all of its glory and make it yours on the watch box. And we're back with the Lange Sohne Grand Lange 1, perhaps more lume than you expected. Hours, minutes, the hour track, but also the power reserve scale at 3 o'clock. Quirky and distinctive, this is the Grand Lange 1.